Master the art of prompting with women applying AI.
There's all these different companies, they have all these different products. It can be very confusing because somebody talks about Gemini and they talk about this, there's different companies and they have different tools. And then there's all these other tools, right? So we talked about Llama, we talked about Copilot, Perplexity. So don't get hung up on the tool, is what I would say. For most knowledge work and for most tasks in general, these things have all gotten so good. It's crazy to think about, but basically LLM capability is almost a commodity now, right? It doesn't matter much. So I would encourage you to think about these angles instead. So which one has your company adopted? So if you're working for an organization and they're like, look, we're a Copilot shop, that's what we're using, that's the only tool you can use. I encourage you to get good at Copilot rather than look over the fence and say, I'm so sad I don't have ChatGPT. Use whatever your company has adopted. Again, if you're working at a company and you have those constraints. Or if you're working at a company and they haven't dictated that, which one will your company allow? You might have to go to the CTO and say, hey, I'd like to use this tool in this way and get approval. So that may be an approach. Then, if you don't have any of those, which are your friends, colleagues, members of Women Applying AI, what are they having a good experience with? So have those conversations with people. What are you using for what use case, right? Because different things for different use cases. And then this is my final, again, it doesn't apply to this audience, but if you're getting like none or I don't know for these, please plunk down the $20 for ChatGPT. It's basically the cost of like 2 or 3 lattes over a month. It is well worth the $20. I get value the first day, first 5 minutes of every month, right? To get a tool like that. And again, if your company is saying thou shall not use AI tools, there's a lot you can do in your personal life, organizing your own personal life on your own personal device using ChatGPT, even if you don't use it for work. Okay, good stuff. Yep, I pay monthly. I see great benefits. Absolutely. So I do think, let's talk about data security for just a second. Again, this audience is a little bit more advanced than some of the folks I speak to. But what you do not want to do is if you're a client, say you're a consultant, don't take your client's super secret strategy that they give you and stick it into ChatGPT and, get an account plan. Like you just don't want to do that, right? Because for all these reasons, particularly LLMs that are free models, they are hungry for data. They are so hungry for data, they're creating synthetic data. So they will take whatever data you give them, unless you tell them not to, and they're going to use it for core training data. And so many AI tools have these click-through agreements. You have no idea what you're giving your life away to. So just be super careful. If it's anything proprietary, you never want to put it into one of these AI models. It goes back to the old adage that came out with social media, right? If you're not paying for the product, you are the product. So you have to be really, really careful, particularly with customer data, company data, revenue data, PII, any of that kind of stuff.